So, hello guys. Nice of you to be here. My name is KP, and here we have TT, Ini, and Chooks. I got that right?
Chuka, please, Lord, not Chooks. I beg you.
I'm so sorry.
We're off to a great start.
Blame it on knowledge. All right. So here we're basically doing a overall summary of the music industry. Basically, these are State of the Union address for the music industry for the year. Seeing as Afrobeats, African sounds have, become viable exports to the world in a way where they share spaces with some of the most important sounds, of all time. So we'll just be going through a few discussions, and first one being about Essence. Essence's journey as a global hit being interesting, and basically it not starting in Nigeria and gaining prominence from South Africa and coming into Nigeria, while Ginger, on the other hand, with featuring Wizkid and Burna Boy, didn't, get that acclaim that Essence got. Do you, for instance, think the local market in Nigeria can efficiently propel a song globally? Chuka, I'll start from you.
Okay. I think the first thing is, for lack of a better word, the law of relativity. But it's more of the law of relatability. Because if people can relate, they can relate. It's one thing to like the sound, love the music, how it sounds. But if you can't connect on a deeper level, you can't. So as great as a song as Ginger is, it's very for Nigeria. So if you listen to the chorus, if you don't understand Pidgin and some Yoruba, you enjoy it, but you won't connect on a certain level with it. Mm. But when the song says what the lyrics of Essence says, especially in the hook, you don't have to try too hard. It's going to connect. First of all, we all know that Made in Lagos was a beautifully crafted album. And I remember when I was listening to it the first time, even though I listened to everything straight and loved all the songs, the very first time I heard it, I like, oh, this Essence track, is like, my favorite songs on the album were Reckless and Essence.
Of course.
Simple. And once you knew, for yourself, that feeling, every once in a while, there are some songs that the same way you feel about it, the rest of the world will feel about it. And I think as far as Nigeria is concerned, it's just having that. We love Afrobeats and we connect to it because so many times we can say things that we connect. It's almost like when you're speaking slangs in the family. But when the language allows it, for example, to go beyond the family to the global village, I think a lot of massive things can happen. I think that will happen again and again as we keep having songs that contain stuff that allow people connect.
I'll tell you what I think about that. I think when it comes to the question of whether the local market here is viable enough to push a song on a global scale, I think the simple answer obviously is yes. Because if you look at it from a side where you have songs like Jerusalem and Yaba Buluku, I mean, they didn't go as far as Essence, but those songs existed in those regions until they came into our market. They didn't get the prominence that, they needed to. But, again, success, like Chuka said, is very relative. Success, what success means to Wizkid is not what it means to Focalistic, for instance, at the end of the day. But I think for the success of Essence, it's coming from South Africa. Looking at the artist, even if you look at Burna Boy and Wizkid, there's a little bit of expected greatness, right? Yep. When it comes to those two guys, you're like, oh, of course it's going to be a hit. You get. But when it came to Essence, we know what Wizkid can do, but we didn't know the full, like in anime, the final form of things. And there was a little bit of something that the market was missing, which was like, unexpected greatness. And I think putting structure behind that. Now, going to the market in South Africa, there's a little bit of more structure. There's more structure over there in the sense that there's more investment from the side of labels and streaming companies, DSPs, establishing themselves fully. Like if you see the operations here, it's more of, liaison based operations. There's
Skeletons.
Exactly. And to push a song is a task of intention. And you need to be very intentional about putting that out. And when you put, good publicity with a very, with something that the market has not seen before, it's easy for it to just, blow outside the market. So looking at the artists, the characters in play, Wizkid and, Burna Boy, obviously, we expect that it must be good. You get what I'm saying? But, I think that really helped. The fact that, there was unexpected greatness with Essence.
Yeah.
I think, and then structure being put behind that really, really helped that. Well, let me know what you think, Ini.
Yeah, I think, we've definitely had songs, that, from like back home here in Nigeria, like after doing well here, they sort of later caught on, we are saying that for Essence, the South African thing and everything, but we've had songs do very well here and, go global. So, I think there's no straight route to like how like the music can go,
Of course.
there's no straight road, and we are playing in like a very, very global market right now, You could have songs, take off probably even in Asia before.
Of course.
Everybody now starts, jumping.
And that's a
on
very
it.
important point for people making music now. You're not making music for Nigeria.
You're not making for Nigeria.
You're making music for the
so
world.
the realities of Nigeria, don't hold you back.
Exactly.
You can get on playlists, and pitch your stuff on. If you feel like your song can do well in this region, can pitch it there particularly and find a way to, just maneuver. And also, we're playing a global market, so I don't even think, every Nigerian should be making music for Nigeria.
Exactly.
The world, there are like, billions of people across the world.
Exactly.
You shouldn't limit yourself. Now, if you feel, Nigeria is like where your market will be,
that's fine as well.
And that's fine. But like, you can try out things, I like the way, Mr. Easy, does a lot of stuff that, aligns with the Latin market, So you can play your game anyway, like you can take any route, but as long as you're achieving your definition of success, that's why it's important.
Yeah, sure.
I think before I move to TT, I think to Ini's point, and that's a very important point in the sense that if tomorrow you hear a Burna Boy song you don't like, it may not be making it for you.
Somebody else is killing it
for another region, because
Facts.
there's this Come On Baby song that J Balvin has on his album with Mr. Easy. I really, really like that song. But, it wasn't a song that did well here locally. But digitally, Mr. Easy
Numbers.
Yeah,
Always doing
exactly.
numbers.
Killed it.
Speed
So,
numbers,
to
man.
the question about the viability of the local market and, the growth of Essence, in juxtaposition with Ginger, TT, your verdict.
Can I plead the fifth?
Please don't do that.
I think that for the most part, we've all, echoed the same sentiment that yes, absolutely, Nigeria has the power to push a song to a global level. But I think that that's mostly because we're everywhere, and so the web that we've woven makes it easy and possible. If something is popping at home, when Spino goes somewhere that he has a residency, he's going to play it there. When Tunes goes somewhere in Europe, he's going to play the songs that are popping at home. When Juice goes somewhere with his thingy at Kiss, he's going to play the songs that are popping at home. And I think that for the most part, that is, Juice is not Nigerian, but you get my point.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that we have that makes it super, not easy, but super doable for Nigeria to be able to push a song. It might take a little longer because it happens in seasons. So it depends on when they come back, when they get what is buzzing on the ground, and then when they go back. That's why a song like 4 would have taken a year to travel. But to your point about structure, all that is the organic part of it. It is combined with the intention of the label or the machine behind the person or behind the song and how they want to decide to move it. And if it's a song that is very Nigerian or very Afrobeats that they still want to push, that's where the intention seriously comes in. Because they're going to need to... It's very simple. If you're going to tell somebody that, oh my gosh, you know, I'm like... Can we like swear and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like the shit back home and all that stuff. They're going to want to check.
Yeah.
So if whoever is taking Wiz to the lifestyle team in the US is taking Wiz to radio, takes this record and is, you know, telling them all of that, their job is made so much more easier, being that back home Wiz is actually what they say he is.
Of course.
So you need, whether you like it or not, the song to at least pop off in some way, or the artist or the brand or something to the home ground to give it a boost for you to be able to even... So the songs that are popping in South Africa, it's not just popping in South Africa because Wizkid just came out from nowhere. He's worked in that market for a while.
Of course.
So whoever was working the song there, whether it went organically or they worked it there, it did happen because when they went to have those conversations, or, you know, people already know Wizkid, it was already that they need to build. So in that looking at it in that way, 100% Nigeria does have a very important role to play in explosion of our music globally.
Yeah. And still building on that point before I move to the next question, how important is being known in your home to being known globally?
It is, I would say, it depends on your goal, right? If you're trying to be a superstar, it is super important. Because even those who've gained economic success outside, when they now want to go commercially as a superstar, they still find a way to connect back home. You can link it to sports, you can link it to fashion, you can link it anywhere you want to look at it. They will have... Already they're making money out there, they're doing well out there, but now they want to take it to the next level. They want to make sure that you cannot hear their name and not know who they are. Yeah. They need to find a way to relate it to their home ground and their home base and, you know, own that. And
Looking at like the songs like a song like Bloody Samaritan, which like charted #1 on the Turntable chart, being the highest the female solo artist has gone with a single on the chart, and also Omalay's Godly being on the charts for about 11 weeks in 2020. But also people don't consider that as Omalay's best song. What do you think made those songs have that special effect? I'll still stay on you, Titi.
So, Omalay had, I don't know, I think for Ira, it's almost easy to spot. There was a combination of I don't know if newness is the right word, but, you know, we like shiny things. It was new, so we're paying attention to it. There was a combination of that, her entire presence in itself, the intention and the precision of the team behind her, and the digital, just them harnessing the digital space. All of that kind of like, you know, stars aligning, as you would say, happened overnight. But all of that being lined up to happen at the same time. They had the money, they had the right look, they had a beautiful, amazing girl with so much confidence, and all of that lining up together at once. Like, it's not confused. It's not you know, out of context or out of whatever that Ira Starr's Bloody Samaritan or any other song on that project would have done. Or
that's my favorite project of the year, by the way.
I've heard some actual...
Dangerous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard some actual arguments for it to be album of the year, because if you look at the year, there hasn't been that many like that.
I think it's Drill Boys though, but
I mean, everybody has their... But, I mean, if you ask me plainly, I'll say it's Thames, because I have bias towards Thames. But I think Ira Starr's album had that element of surprise for me. I'm like, oh, everybody says, oh, she looks like Thames, she sounds like Thames. There are even videos on YouTube that say they are from the same mother and different fathers and all of that funny stuff. But at the end of the day, I think Ira Starr's album, and there are a lot of fantastic albums like Ini said as well, like with Joe Boy's album. But I think what Ira Star's album did was what the effect Ira Star's album had for me was the same effect Fireboy's second
LTG.
album.
Oh, Apollo.
Yeah,
Apollo?
yeah, had on me because when I heard Tattoo, I'm like, this guy is playing with fire. He's experimenting with a sound that, you know, it might end up, you know, not working out. But it worked out. And I like that straight off the gate. I mean, she dropped an EP, but straight off the gate with an album like that, she wasn't afraid to take on, you know,
She dropped both the EP and the album
Exactly.
same year, right?
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't afraid to take on, you know, different sounds, sound dynamic, R&B, party jams.
Yeah.
And in a way where even though, you know, I'm not Gen Z, I could still understand what she was talking about. Do you get what I'm saying? Even if...
Was she talking about Gen Z stuff?
Not really. It's just, you know, the thing about Gen Z again is they, you know, we clown them for being too sensitive, but...
I'm Gen Z. I mean, maybe they will not
Titi,
agree.
you're not Gen Z. But I'm
my
just
age might not agree, but I'm with them.
But the thing about the thing about Gen Z is people clown them for these people are too soft in my days. You know, we don't cry. We don't cry about things like this. You know, we're hard. But at the end of the day,
in your days it was just sun and farm and all that stuff.
I think for me the most, you know, important thing about her sound and, you know, who she is, you know, there's like a very, very, you know, there's a high level of intention to everything she does, from her style, from the way she sounds.
Correct.
You know, from, you know, her song choices. And I remember, I don't remember when exactly, but, you know, definitely like a couple months before like the new album dropped, they had like this like a private concert kind of thing for her with some industry guys and some of her fans. I was there with like a friend Fulu, you know, from 49th Street. I remember like I whispered to him in his ear, like, because it was really loud, like, man, like what they are doing with this girl. And I remember, look, that was before, you know, she became, you know, this. I remember he said something about, you know, very intentional, from like, you know, she had like this really cool all-female band, you know, the way she was, you know, interacting with the fans, the way, you know,
she's
like,
a superstar.
Exactly, and you can kind of,
you can see that clearly,
and you can kind of exactly what Ini just said is very the fact that she can communicate that clearly without, you know, you trying to figure it out. Do you get what I'm saying? Is very simple to do when you see it done, but it's actually something that is lacking in the industry. Like there's no clear communication of a lot of artist brands. But to the question about, you know, what I think is special about the song is, first of all, the intention, you know, behind the brand of Ira Star. She's beyond the music. She's a movement. Do you know what I'm saying? She's a movement. You know, she started the album with Gen Z anthem, basically knowing
everything.
Exactly, everything, how it's gonna turn out and all of that stuff. So I think it's the intention and also the surprise, like, oh, this girl is not, you know, Thames' stepsister. She's actually her own person.
She's who she is.
She has her own story, and the story kind of flows. You know, when she spoke about, you know, her dad being in the hospital, she experiences heartbreak. She, you know, there's an album about prayer. She's not deviating from the fact that she's a Yoruba girl. She can speak Yoruba, she can speak English, she can do songs with Fouché, she can, you know, do a party jam, and all of that. And I think, you know, it makes me excited about the future to see artists that are not, you know, afraid to take on new sounds and, you know, get on with it without losing their own individualism. But I'll let Chuka speak on that.
Yeah, well, I think it's what happens when for lack of a better word, fearlessness of the young meets the wisdom of the old. Because don't forget, you're still dealing with Don Jazzy. You know, so look, when there was no industry, literally, when we were building from scratch.
I mean,
you know,
I always say Moit would have enslaved us if they didn't split.
Bro.
Like they would have signed everybody.
Bro.
Do you get what I'm saying?
So, and Jazzy built it from the ground up. There was a group back then in the UK called Big Brothers. So they had a huge hit in the UK at the time. This is Big Bro taking over the show. Don Jazzy could produce that song. Like this is like maybe 2001 or something. You know, he did those songs for them. Then hops into Nigeria, you know,
JJC for one night score.
then goes when they now toss him and the band out of the group.
Thank God.
And then from there, everything just snowballs, you know, and literally continued building. Then Mo Hits broke up.
And
He didn't
continued,
end it.
you know?
He started rebuilding Maven, you know. So look, you can't really break somebody who has gone through all that,
Yeah.
you know. And now you have a girl who, you know, she sounds like that mix you need. She's not so Gen Z in her sound that the
Of course.
older ones can't relate.
Yeah.
You know,
She's
and
literally a pop star.
literally. So, and she's been groomed right. You know, personally, I feel like they missed the trick, honestly, when they named the song Bloody Samaritan. Personally, because I felt like more people would find it hard to find the song based on that name. And not everybody's going to Shazam, because it's only Gen Z and millennials that probably Shazam. Those who just like the song and don't know the title of the song, because you would, after listening to the song, Blood Samaritan is not the first thing that comes to your mind.
It's vibes on vibes.
It's vibes on vibes. So literally,
Yeah, but then I mean, there also has to be that balance of their creativity, right? And vibes on vibes is a little.
we know. So that's what I'm like. What would have been the way to?
I just need to call that
Yeah.
to Zilla Oaks' vibes on vibes is actually a vibe.
So thank you for clearing that
There
up.
you
So
go.
you know, so I just feel like, you know, that was what made it. It might have helped us in terms of giving it that cult feel,
Of course.
you know. But I also feel like it closed up the doors for those who would have searched for it in the regular way,
Of course.
you know, because most people won't put her name. They didn't know who she was.
Couldn't
you
spell
know,
her
but
name for the longest
we
time.
that knew.
But then I mean, I guess that's why we should hope that the technological advancements, like things like searching with the lyrics,
Yes.
helps. Because if you
Yes.
just go put vibes on vibes,
Yes.
Nigerian popular song, it will
Exactly.
come out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
but that's for us who check. And the thing
No,
is,
but
that the song
generally
was
though,
so
you know,
huge.
that thing was made based on people searching for
Yes.
songs in
But I'm
that
saying,
way.
I'm talking about the generation who won't.
Yeah, like
And
they're cut out from like this kind of.
this, yes, they're
Basically,
not,
like it probably would have been bigger if, like, you know, you had like that kind of title. Not saying that it wasn't huge.
it wasn't huge, yeah. Because
know?
look at Nigeria, right? No matter how you look at it, there's still a huge section that are using feature phones. There's still a
Yeah,
huge
so they're not
section.
searching for it then.
They're not, but they love
So
the
then the
music. That's my
name
point.
doesn't-
So it's going to be hard for them to find, because if you...
Where would they have found it in the first place, even if they know the name?
Yeah, so for example, quick example. If you are talking to people who know music, you know, your friends and co, and they themselves, they are searching themselves. So they're already closed off, because it's not the easiest thing to say, oh, one person just picks up
Yeah.
Shazam and says, I'm feeling vibes on vibes,
Yeah.
and then it comes up. You know, those parts, and I understand that we're not necessarily directing the music to them
Apple and
directly,
Spotify. Hope you are
know.
listening. Pay this man. He's giving you some insights.
But
Trailer.
it is-
Hope you are listening.
It's key to understand that even within this space, right,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are on the outside looking in, who really want to be finding ways to, you know, in the old days it was radio, you know, so you would call in and say, oh, we're trying to find this song, the name is this, and you will get it, right? Now you've called. Now it's now your job to remember two things.
Yeah.
First, remember her name because she's new. Then remember Bloody Samaritan. You know, so it's not as straightforward as it. I love her name, first of all. I need to put that out. I feel like, you know,
It's very futuristic.
but then again, I'm one of the guys who was in love with a Song of Ice and Fire, which most people know as Game of Thrones, when it was books. And of course, there was Arya Stark. You know, in the
I
book.
have been waiting for somebody to actually make a connection with
Yes.
that, or make a joke out of it, or I don't know.
So I feel like it's like just the two names
Yeah.
twisted to Stark from the Star,
Alright.
and then the Ira from the Arya, and I think it's brilliant because if you look at the story of Arya Stark, like she was the, you know,
I didn't-
kid
Formidable.
who-
I didn't watch
who
Game of
didn't
Thrones, but-
care. Like,
Yeah.
bro,
What?
At least I watched.
No.
I watched Koto
This is
Aisha.
about to just.
What about another panel on
It's
that?
about to become a whole
we
thing of
we
why.
have just disbarred him from the panel.
All right, cool. This is it now.
Camera,
Keep it
please
here.
don't show me anymore. Anyways, moving to the next question. I'll start with Ini.
But sorry, before you move on, I
Yeah.
also like to touch on something Trigger
Yes.
said that I feel is very important. having like young or new artists
Yeah.
go through like the kind of incubation period which
Oh, yeah.
that they have at like Moving Records, like
Yeah.
beautiful things. That's why when they bring out artists,
You be like, what
you
are
can
they
see that these
feeding
guys are
them?
finished products. They
You
come
know?
out and they know what they are doing.
Fine.
And the
Very
confidence is
intentional.
very
Yes.
vivid.
Yo, very, very, and it's so important. I know, like a lot of people don't like going through like the labor route anymore. Everybody wants to be independent, and everybody.
Maybe come and
But it's not
sponsor
for-
the show.
it's not
See
for-
all the nice things they're saying.
it's not for everybody. Like some people might just have to like I can imagine like her coming out as an independent. It would have been very, very different.
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very different.
Yes.
But great job to like those guys, man. Definitely.
Shout out the Prince. Shout out Don Jazzy.
Yeah.
And so the next discussion is basically on, the elephant in the room, which is Love and Wanting going.
Why is it the elephant in the room?
He said,
We'll know when we
"Ooh."
discuss
Man,
it.
I feel
Wait. Let me just land.
Bro,
You see why it's the
like
elephant?
Reggie.
You see why
Ini is in it.
yo,
To win it. All right, so Love and Wanting to, we heard it and we're like, oh, nice song. And we're just like, locally here. And, people are, outside the market heard it and they were like, this is the best song of all time after Michael Jackson Bad. But, is there a gap between the local cravings and international demand? And if so, how can that gap be closed? I'll start with Ini because it seems the most excited.
Bro is
super
ready to
excited.
go.
I think first off, I would like to first, Siki has been getting a lot of hate on Twitter and stuff like from people,
Shame.
from haters, man.
Haters?
They're hating. They're hating on the fact that
I'm surprised.
quote and unquote, I know a lot of people might like take this the wrong way. Like
Let
right
them
now,
take
his
it the wrong
song is
way.
doing better than like the songs of a lot of their faves, and you can't kill him for that. He makes great music.
Yeah.
Man, that guy makes like I don't know how to explain it to you
I
guys.
feel like I made a mistake
Man.
asking him first.
that guy makes great music, man. Felony.
He does.
That kiss me something. Kiss
My
me like
favorite
you
is
miss me.
Scoin Scoin. I'm just watching
Yo,
everybody as
he-
they're sleeping on it.
That EP or album, or I think the project Fire, man. That guy's making great DTF. That guy's making great music for a long time. I think the stars just aligned for him. I don't even remember what the question was anymore. But the stars just aligned for him, and he makes great music. And I think that is like a should be like a knock on the door of like every single artist. When you make great music, at some point, it might not happen all together. It might not be on CK's level, but people will feel it. That guy has been making for a while.
And you're right, because that
and he produces too, also. Like
of course.
great
And I think
great
He also
guy.
writes, by the way.
to Ini's point about like if you make great music, the market will find it one day. Burna Boy 2017
Yo,
was like
another example.
B-list, C-list artists, alter guys doing alter music. And suddenly, 2019...
Anybody ever opened their mouth to say
Of course.
Burna is doing
I mean,
alter?
of course now.
Man, before
People used to
before he had,
falsify
before he had
like,
his breakout,
his
breakout,
alternative
breakout.
is,
Yeah, different, but
Ini,
Alter is
am I
weird,
wrong?
right?
A lot of Nigerians, anything that you can't really see as like
If you can't put it in a
I feel like I feel like we're getting into the alter scene, but the question again, Ini, was: is there a disparity between the local demand and international demand, and how can that gap be closed?
Well, I think
Given Love Wanted
Nigeria as a
case
country
study.
is huge. Like Nigeria is actually bigger than a lot of people think. A lot of people have not like been to half of the country.
Yeah.
I was in Sokoto one day, and there's this song long and short, something from Juju Boy Star.
Yeah.
And they were playing that song at a club there, or a bar. I'm not calling it a club, a bar there. And in my head, I'm like, this one too is here. Nigeria is a big country, and like you have to. A lot of songs won't relate. Felony is not going to relate to like a lot of people won't relate to Felony. That's the fact. Great song. Great song.
Who
Or
broke your heart that you're related to Felony?
I'm not going to get into that right now. but like and even for someone like Wizkid, as big as Wizkid is, you see him,
Big Wiz.
Big Wiz, you see like some of his songs that you see like, I don't know if he does it intentionally, like making songs. I think at some point he probably was making songs particularly for the Nigerian market, and you have something like Sounds from the Other Side, people call it, mid. Like,
I think that
I'm
album.
like-
Sorry, I'll just stop you. I think that album was released
Ahead of his time.
Ahead of its
Bro,
time.
because
that's a very good
that
album,
is-
you know.
I don't want to.
Let me just let you finish the question. So
Let me
that-
say something else about. But that's a great album. One
Yeah.
of the best from Nigeria in a long time, actually. But I think the point is like the market or the Nigerian, they were not prepared for that kind of sound at that time, and that is always going to be a thing. That probably like you're making music that is ahead of its time. You've had guys like even Kanye with like 808 and Heartbreaks. And that's always going to be a thing. You might be making
And
music.
Soulja Boy.
Oh God, no.
Moving on.
But yeah, so sometimes some songs might be better suited for the local market.
Yes.
Some songs might be better suited for like the global
Yeah.
market. Some songs might just be ahead of its time for the local market, and then probably later they can now come back to it. Some songs can be that way for the global market also. So it's just like a lot of roads, like I said earlier.
To the market.
Yeah, they're just there's a lot of roads. So
Yeah.
but I think the fact is, and one thing that as I see as a thing is great music. Will always find its way to like do what it has to do with like the great skeleton or body behind
Yeah.
it. Will always find its way.
I feel Titi has a few notes because she's now in that thinking man pose. So give it to us, hot.
I kind of in my head, I was
Yes.
so sure I was going to be the last person. So I was like super chilled and
That's what
taking
you
it
get
all
on this
in.
show, spontaneity.
But okay. If there is a gap between what Nigeria can produce and what the international market is looking for, is your question? No. There's no gap in what we can produce and what they want. There's a gap in getting them to hear it.
But do you
There's
think
a gap
it's
in
more
the
of
promotion.
the audience education about what
So
music
there's a gap in the promotion. There's a gap in the resources that we have to get the music to the global
So it's
market.
a structural gap.
Yes.
Okay.
Because CK made Love Wanting 2 years ago. And
I mean, 2020 is like 5 years ago, but yeah.
he made CK made Love Wanting before the
2019.
I think
apocalypse.
2019, yeah.
Yeah.
He made it before the world ended,
Yeah.
and then now that we were all renewed and refreshed, we heard it.
Post-corona.
Now, the thing is, songs like that he would make, or songs that just ETA could make, or songs that people like Famous could make in the future, or whatever. The global audience is looking for everything, right? They're looking for the Latino type of sounds. They're looking for the R&B type of sounds. They're looking for whatever it is. And we know that we produce all of that kind of sound here. So the gap is not in what we are capable of producing. The gap is in the getting them to hear what we're capable of producing. And so it's in the structure, in that how many people, if not for TikTok, we will not be having this
Shout out.
conversation. And okay, let's be the digital space, right? If not for the virality of all the short videos and all the short clips and all of that going, and it did move organically for a bit, but we all know that at some point in time, a lot of resources was pumped into it to get to where it is now. And I can tell you for a fact that there's one of those kinds of people that would be able to get that kind of funding in Nigeria every other year.
Yeah.
So that's where the gap is.
This guy started talking money, so I'm interested now. Please increase the volume of his mic.
Yeah, so to the tune of about $400,000.
And you know this for a fact.
That is for a fact. So
Yeah, I mean, but a simple TikTok campaign in the US will cost you like $10,000 for like this Yay
This year's,
March.
yes.
So for
So-
that level, that includes not just the US this Yay March, includes the US this
global,
Yay March,
bro.
and then the UK and then Europe.
Yeah.
That's like that would finish.
yeah. So if you
Money
think about
well
it,
spent, though.
You can rig a local government election with that money.
Do you even need to rig it? You just need to just give
Just
the
give
people.
the boys.
Just build a power plant.
it's such a key thing in life.
And speaking of, there was a lot of like, CK and, DJ this, CK and DJ that. I'm sure
Yeah.
Love Quantity has more remixes than any other song.
and
in
the
Nigeria.
album that there's a remix album.
Exactly, shout out DJ Neptune.
Okay, on code.
So, when it comes to like collabs and seeing, Buju with Ladipo, shout out Ladipo, and you see Highway, you see songs like Essence with Thames and Wizkid, Ginger with Wizkid, High with Adekunle AG and Davido. This formula seems to be working for getting your song to be the song, right? Do you think that is the new formula? Do you think that's what's obtainable in the market? I would like to start with Chika on that.
I think collaborations.
Do you think that's the reality of things, or would be the better way to put it?
I think collaborations have always been and always will be something special, and always has a way of connecting two audiences minimum.
Yeah.
So if you can look as far back as literally, if I want to travel back to even before I was born, and you're talking about songs like, The Girl Is Mine, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. Just bringing the Beatles crowd.
Into
and then
that.
taking that, the soul, the black soul pop crowd together.
Also happened with Essence with the Justin Bieber crowd as
Absolutely.
well. Yeah.
So that's what these things do. They cause two worlds to
Family
not just
sharing.
collide. Yes, it causes them to meld,
Yo.
and it's a beautiful thing. In hip hop, for example, one of the easiest ways to get that love has always been R&B hooks.
Yeah.
Of course.
So whether it was a Mary J. Blige or it was a Kelly Price, or
Basically
whether-
getting dash for your,
yes.
On it, dog.
So on a dog, so those are the beauties, and that's literally what he just did. More Money, More Problems was Diddy, Puffy, Diddy, Mace, and B.I.G., right? Nobody gives enough credit to Kelly Price, who was singing the hook. Now, everybody remembers that song mostly for the hook, right? The Buju and Ladipo song, the video.
Actually, Buju and the industry. Actually, at this point.
The video was actually an ode to More Money, More Problems.
Yeah.
Because there was the same video set up, right? And
Yeah, true, with the lights and all
yes,
of
the
that.
lights and dressing and everything. Now, is that same formula of getting somebody who understands and can sing on a hip hop beat and putting it together, knowing how to do it, and it works.
That is Laddie's cheat code.
It's cheat code, though, bro.
Listen to that project, man. Every hook.
It was not playing around. I mean,
Every
and you have
hook.
Fireboy and Buju
Every
giving
hook,
you hooks,
man.
like.
Every hook.
Ojoro, key point.
But you know,
As it should be done.
I think just like Chika was saying, for the stuff with collaborations. I remember Kanye saying something like like talking about like why he collaborates a lot. I think he mentioned like like imagine a painting if you have like Picasso and like one of that legendary artists coming, that would probably be like the most valuable painting.
Of course.
Yes.
You understand? So there's a lot of value when different heads come together. First of all, the quality of the music will be better.
Of course.
There are different perspectives on things.
And nobody's losing
That's
their
why I feel,
individuality.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of songwriters. I encourage artists to make use of their
Collaborate.
services. You understand?
Yeah.
Like you see, you look at like an album like Donda, and I've seen so many people doing so many different things, and that's why like you're able to come out with songs like Come to Life. I think there was like a 12-year-old playing like the keyboard at the ending of the song or something like.
Kanye always makes
you
it
understand?
buffet.
Yeah, like.
Always.
You
All you can
understand?
eat.
You understand? So,
Yeah.
so I feel we actually even need a lot more of
More,
that.
absolutely.
A lot more of that, and you can't take away fan base sharing. Like
Yeah.
you actually need that, especially like when you're rising.
Yeah.
Even when you're at the top, you're seeing like. I imagine like I'm waiting for the day we have, and I know it's gonna come one day. We have like Bonner, Weezer, and David on his song.
Bro.
Bro, everywhere is going to scatter,
Bro.
and that's the effect of collaborations.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
that would be the
also, like,
soundtrack to the Rapture.
Man, it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, you can go. I'm basically done already. Don't worry.
And also picking off, sorry, Titi, I'm picking off on his point. It doesn't have to be Wizkid, Davido, and Burna. It could be Thames and Ira Star. It could be Fireboy.
I think I saw someone talking about the fact that we don't have like our females collaborate enough, and I think that's like a real thing.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah. We need a lot more of that. We need more joint. We don't really have joint projects. We need like some of the biggest heads coming together. It makes the music a lot more exciting. We know you're good. We know you can make the best
Ajabota and
products.
BOJ, shout outs.
Yo,
make
those
it no cost
guys.
fight.
No,
Yeah,
those two
those
are
guys,
different.
those
From
guys.
day one, like,
Then they brought in Fowls into the mix.
Yeah.
I think they make amazing stuff. Like, shout out to those guys.
So,
But
Titi,
I'm going to say this. You can cut it out because it's probably not going to. It's not relevant.
When
but
they say that, keep
It's
it in.
relevant.
no,
Keep
it's not. It's why I say it's not relevant because I'm not really going to say much. But I'm just smiling at so much that you guys are saying because I wish I could say about the collaborations because there's like huge ones coming.
we'll talk after service.
And then the joint projects, and I'm like, I wish I could say, but
I mean, we'll
we're
see.
all thinking in the same,
Right.
just it's all going to need to align, but the work is being done. The guys, especially these guys that we have, your Joe boys, your Fire boys, your Rema, they are thinking
All
in
the
those
boys.
lines. All the boys, and I'm pretty sure that the
Call
girls
the album
are
The
too.
Boys.
Ooh, okay.
Just give it that cover like the boys, the
And then all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe we can all dress them in.
Remember
like,
us, guys.
You know what I would love if I was the creative director? I'd make all of them dress in like female beautiful clothing and put it as the boys.
There you go. So with this, we have come to the end of the service. Thank you guys for coming. And
Speaking of collabs, at least we can start off with Ballon d'Or.
they've still not released it.
No, I promise to drop in this month.
Who?
that's inside information.
That's
Straight from
Wizkid and
Chuka.
Davido.
Straight
Wizkid
from
and
Chuka.
Burna Boy. Sorry,
Oh, yeah,
Burna
yeah,
Boy
yeah.
featuring
Yeah.
Wizkid.
World War.
Shouldn't it have already been?
So
It was
they have enough material together to drop.
No,
an
I
EP.
mean,
Man, I'll pay
there
some
was
dollar
there
for
was
that.
supposed to be
Anyways,
a release. Like,
No, don't mind Wiz. Wiz was
no, before
excited.
that's his announcement.
Yeah, so the Ballon d'Or was recorded literally on the 31st of December 2020. Literally. So I had it on the 1st. So I've been listening to this song for like a year. And
if they don't release it, we'll leak it.
see, if I start to leak,
Speaking about
if I have
that,
to leak
speaking
songs, I
about,
have problem.
I was going to say, speaking about leaking, if anybody knows the way that we can leak it and still, in the
I'll go
way
to
that
jail for that
pleases,
song.
in the way that
Yeah,
pleases
pleases
the
God.
God and the industry, please let me know
All right,
because
guys.
I have a few.
I think we are out of time. Thank you guys for coming. Ini, Titi, Chuka, KP.
Thank you, KP.
Thank
Shout
you,
out to
Kevin.
Turntable Chat. Shout out to Triller. Shout out Cloud Africa. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Depending
man.
on what God you serve. Happy Kwanzaa.